I want to talk about how the concept of confidence is often skewed for people who come from cultures like the Indian culture, where saying you're good at something counts as arrogance. So, today we are going to talk about the nuance of it. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Notes from a Desi Girl. Just yesterday, I was watching this match. FIFA is going on. And Messi made a world record of scoring the most goals in FIFA. This is absolutely brilliant, and all of us, my husband and I, we were so happy that it happened. Since childhood, I know nothing about football, but I've always heard, since sixth grade really, people around me, my classmates, going on and on about how much they revere Messi because he really is the greatest of all time, and I agree. So even someone who knows nothing about football, the few times I've watched a match, I like FIFA. I like to watch FIFA with my dad or with just people around because it brings us all together, and it's easy to follow because it's just country against country. Even I know when Messi comes on screen that something is different, and I revere him too. Now, everyone always, every time he scores a goal, the commentators, my husband, even me by extension, we all talk about how he is gifted and how that is brilliant. So, I did a little search of does Messi, when he gets asked in interviews, and Messi is such a great example to learn from because I think everyone, regardless of whether we are into football or not, we can learn from him. We can learn from people who are athletes, who have spent a great deal of their life making sacrifices to build on the talent they have. And I was curious whether Messi acknowledges that he has talent. And in a lot of his interviews, as it turns out, when people have complimented him or asked him, he has said, yes, I have a gift. And he's a religious person, which is really beautiful. He follows the faith and he expresses gratitude almost immediately after saying that, yes, I am gifted and I have also made a lot of sacrifices. So there's two halves of a whole of his career that he attributes his success to. First, the gift that he acknowledges he has, and second, the work that he has done, without which the gift in itself would mean meaningless. So he has often stated that yes, I'm gifted, but there's a lot of talented people out there who are also gifted who may not have had a chance to do what he does. That really sat with me because in growing up in India, whenever someone said I am good at something, it meant arrogance. But here is the one of the greatest athletes of all time, a person who is revered and loved by billions of people. I myself, who is not a football, I want his jersey just because I want to support him and I like what he stands for. And the way he says things. Every time he said, yes, I am gifted and I'm good at it, that does not mean that it's a bad thing. That does not count as arrogance by anyone. Yet I have been taught my whole life in this culture that I grew up in that saying that you are good at something automatically means you are arrogant because you are saying that other people are not good at it, and that you are saying that you are special at the expense of other people, and that you should deserve special treatment for the fact that you are good at something. This is really strange. And now that I'm growing up, and the more I think about these things, the more I look at examples around me, I want to find the nuance in this. Because while there are so many beautiful and good things about my culture, there are certain things where nuance doesn't always win. I don't like that. In Indian culture, everything is about comparison, isn't it? And we are a deeply hierarchical society where it's not just about your social status or what car you own. In fact, racism is nothing in Western countries because in India, not only is there racism, there is colorism, there is religionism, there is casteism, there is a lot more ism, just everything ism. One of the most obvious things is colorism because in my family everyone is kind of the same caste, so there wasn't hierarchy to be established there. But I have seen people who have made a lot of money in their life, my blood relatives by the way, who I'm not proud of anymore to be related to, who have expressed hierarchy over us in two things. First, with the amount of money they've made through the opportunities that they have had, and second, through the color of their skin. Now, I know you look at me and say, you're not exactly Miss Melanin. Do you even get to talk about dark skin? Yeah, girl, because right now I don't go out in the sun as much, and also I wear sunscreen. I don't want a lot of sun damage. But growing up, I was a lot darker than right now. And this is not a good or a bad thing, it's just there was no concept of sunscreen. So, me and certain members of my family have been made to feel so bad about our dark skin because some other family member had lighter skin. They were born with it and they were always lighter skin. And we didn't really see color. Kids don't see color, but we were made to see color because those people, my relatives, that's all they saw. In fact, it felt like that's all they had. They talked about having lighter skin and expressed superiority from it in almost every conversation or interaction, almost every single time we met. So, the point of this story or this anecdote is to tell you that in Indian society, and not just these people, a lot of people somehow believe that if you are born with an ability, that means you were handpicked by God, or like you were chosen. If you're the chosen one, you are special. And that word special, I don't like it. You were already chosen by God with this ability that you have. In this case, ability isn't just being good at something, but ability is also having light skin, which is crazy because ugh. In fact, I love dark skin. I don't like light skin anymore because of what it has stood for all my life growing up. Now, light skin is something that is very obvious. You can't just deny it because it's right there in front of you. And it's also just that, it's skin deep. This little weird concept of, oh, I was handpicked by God and therefore I'm special. And because I'm special, I am above you and deserve special treatment. This is such a snowball slippery slope of like, huh? Are we really doing that? Well, people have done that for ages. I got out of that society, I got out of that situation. Then I started seeing how ridiculous it was because the Western world, especially a lot of white people, they like a tan. They like having brown. They don't like having brown skin on brown people, that's a different thing. They like having brown skin on themselves. If it's a decoration from being tanned by the sun, it's a different conversation altogether. But they like dark hair and they like thick hair and they like thick eyebrows and eyelashes and they pay money to get that. I'm like, in some parts of the culture this is considered a good thing, in some parts of the, so this is really arbitrary. There is no such thing as good or bad. And that brings me back to talent. The fact that someone is good at something is just that. That's all it is. Because of this comparison culture and this hierarchical culture that we have, it's so tempting but also distasteful to equate I am good at something with I am special and I deserve better treatment for it because I am better than you. Why do we do this? Why do we equate seemingly unrelated concepts as one? Because our society is so risk averse. We don't want someone to feel good about themselves and follow a particular passion, let's say. In fact, you aren't rewarded as an artist or a sportsman unless you play in the top league or you are the biggest actor ever. And I now realize that being the biggest actor ever is really not just about your talent. It's a lot about politics too, but we don't see that because they don't market it like that. It's the exception that makes us all hopeful that if we work hard and if we really follow our dream and make sacrifices, we'll get where we want to get. But the reality is that there's a lot of luck and politics involved, and no one will ever talk about that because that's not marketable. As a child, saying that I am good at something, I was told like you cannot. Now I have been told, and I agree. Now I can say this out loud that I'm good at drawing. My drawing is good. I'm not perfect. And the more I do it, which is a different thing altogether, the better I'll get at perspective and certain things I'm very weak at. My art teacher has also corrected certain times, like, hey, your perspective is off. And like, how do I just practice? That's what he says. But he says that, hey, you have the ability, you have potential, and you can do great things with this. So saying that I'm good at something is not a bad thing in itself. As a child though, if you say that, if you feel confident about your instincts to do something, then that standalone can add to your confidence about the thing and you can do something with it. Like light skin is just that. It's skin deep. There is nothing more that you can do with it, right? It's not a narrative as light skin is going to give you this opportunity in the future, not really. But your ability at something, my ability to notice seemingly unrelated things and making them into a story, my ability to write or my ability to draw, it could be something. It could be a larger narrative of maybe I'm a storyteller one day, maybe I'm an artist one day. This narrative, I believe they don't want us to have or they have not wanted us to have in the past. For one, because other people didn't get to have, and now they feel the need to project and pass the baton. And second, Indian society is so risk averse that if you are not absolutely extraordinary, like say A.R. Rahman, who is so good at what he does, if you don't play at that level, then there is no point to doing it, which also brings in the conversation of perfectionism. Like if don't do it at all if you are 100% in. Don't do it badly. It's right. There's also that word special that I talked about earlier that I don't like. Because when you say special, there is always that indirect comparison to an audience. You are special, but not on your own, right? If you were one person on an island and that's just what life was like for you, you wouldn't be special. You wouldn't be like, that's just it. Whatever you do would be descriptive. It wouldn't be special because it's not weighed against someone. But in India, everything is weighed against someone. So being special is indirectly a way to say you have been compared against an audience that you may or may not necessarily know, and that you are better than them. I don't like it and I don't want to do it anymore, and feel the need to talk about this. I don't like to use the word special because I'm good at drawing. No, I'm just good at drawing. And that is a standalone fact. Like, I have black hair. That's just it. Whether or not someone else is good at drawing is a completely different conversation as it is. Whether or not the skill you possess, the thing that you're instinctively good at, is rare or not, is a particularly different conversation altogether. For example, a society is made of a lot of different people. An ideal society, for example, no, forget the fact that we are living in an age of social media where community can mean thousands or millions of people. It's not exactly normal because we are not built for that. We are built for smaller communities, and we all feel that pull to live in a village of 150 to 200 people. A functioning village means everyone has a particular skill set and we all come together and we live harmoniously. No one is better than the other. An ideal society is an egalitarian society. So the fact that I'm good at drawing and someone is good at pottery and someone is a very good comedian, we all have a role. Think of this example. A circuit is made up of a lot of different parts. One of the parts is you need a wire in your house to conduct electricity. But you also need an insulator, right? You need a conductor, a copper wire, and an insulator to cover it, because the world we live, we can't just touch a live wire while it's carrying electricity. We need to protect ourselves. Does that mean an insulator is a failed conductor or that a conductor is a failed insulator? No. These are two very different things meant to serve a very different purpose. Let them just be. A conductor and an insulator are both required for the circuit to work, and the circuit in this case is a community. We all have different skills and there is nothing good or bad about that. It's just descriptive. And that's what Messi does. He's just descriptive of, yes, I have a gift, I'm good at this. And the fact that I work towards it, and my life, that my career of say 30 years is it, that he has built through all the sacrifices he's made, is the other half of it, without which the talent itself wouldn't stand for anything or wouldn't mean anything for a professional career. This is the nuance that in some cultures saying I'm good at something is just accepted. And in our culture, we need to talk more about this so that people like us, millennials or Gen Zs or people that are now growing up, need to understand that if they are good at something, it doesn't mean you are arrogant about it. Doesn't automatically mean you are comparing yourself to someone. That's a narrative that is being pulled to make you feel bad. Because if you say that I'm good at something, other people get offended. Does that mean I'm bad at is that what? No, I'm not saying that. I didn't say that you are bad at this. All I said, I gave a description of myself. It doesn't have to mean anything more than that. That description is just to share with you, as humans often share with each other, that hey, I did this good thing. Do you want to see it? And that's what we friends do, or families should do with each other, right? I did this good thing. What do you think? That's it. That's where it should end. That confidence part is especially important for us to now realize, because first is being aware of it. Then we can heal from what we now know to be the thing we didn't know earlier. Confidence is just saying I'm good at this through knowing, through the evidence that you have. I've drawn a lot and people are like, yeah, that's good. I'm like, thanks. I actually agree. I'm proud of this. I now say it. Back then I wouldn't say it because I felt like I was not humble enough or that I was bragging. It was not bragging. There is nuance there. This myth that is now just considered a normal fact in Indian society, that being born with a gift or having an inclination to do something, which is weird because we all have an inclination to be very good at something. This is equated with merit, things like good skin or light skin, which is such a big discussion in India even today, unfortunately. And it's equated with merit. I know this because I have my personal experience with my literal family members, the people I'm blood related to, who have made me and people like in my family feel bad for our darker skin because theirs was whiter and therefore better. We need to stop this. I don't like this anymore. God gift means better. No. The more we talk about this, the more we take that narrative back in our hands, and then there is a new normal. You know what I'm saying? And I love, especially athlete. Now I know sports is not a big thing in India, but athletes especially, it's so visible that when you want to be good at something, you have to work towards it. Athletes talk about this all the time, that yes, they have talent. Every footballer out there who's playing in FIFA has a talent and they work towards it. The last concept I want to talk about, that I will end with, is that the fact that you are gifted with something or that you're good at something, whether or not it's rare, depends entirely on how the population is distributed. Not everyone is a conductor, not everyone is an insulator. The fact of the matter is that maybe insulators are more in population and maybe conductors are lesser in population. Maybe people who are good at drawing are numerous. People who are good at connecting things are numerous. People who are comedians are not that numerous. That's rare. Again, that doesn't mean rare is better and deserves special treatment. Rare is just a function of society, it's just a fact. Fact does not make you good or better or more deserving of something. And being confident about your description does not mean you are a bad person. That's what I want to end with. Thank you for listening. Bye.